Hey guys, welcome to Denny's. Today, we're going to be going over the first Descendant hotfix 1.1.1. It just dropped September the 5th, 2024. It is going to be the update that goes over the content improvements and the invasion dungeon nerfs, as well as some Hailey drop rate buffs, and maybe some other things sprinkled in. So we'll go over it really quickly here. Don't forget to like the video if it helped you, comment any feedback you have for me down below, and then subscribe if you feel I've earned it today. If not, keep a lookout next time, and then let's hop right in without wasting any more time. And we're doing this live on Twitch also, so don't forget to follow me on Twitch. Link in the description and above me. But let's hop right in. So first and foremost, the nerf to the Order of Truth dungeon. These are the dungeons that had all the pillars in them, that had the tumors on them. So they did a giant amount of nerfs to them. It is going to be substantially easier. So no more pillars with no symbols. They improved it so that all the pillars are going to be facing the inner circle. So like all of them are going to be facing the center of the arena instead of facing every which way. And then they simplified the design of the symbols. So there's only 4 symbols now, and it's basically X, triangle, circle, and square. It doesn't get much easier than that. They also have dots on them to help you determine as well. Fixed an issue where skills would continue to target the tumors of the RK pillars. So Bunny, high voltage, just kept zapping the pillars even though they're destroyed. Not going to happen anymore. Tumors do not regenerate after they are destroyed now. So once you kill them, that's it. You can go back and look at the shape you need. If you need a double check, you don't have to go and kill them again, which is really nice. They also have less health, though. Instead of 5 hits, they take 3 hits. And then the drones are slower, and they have different paths now. I'm guessing just to make them quite easier as well. So obviously different paths. I don't know what that's going to be, but making them slower is pretty nice. That's the drones that you blow up to get the weapon. And then change the direction of the symbol displayed above the ancestor drone to be vertical. So instead of being above the drones in a horizontal line, it is now straight up and down. So it matches the pillars even easier. Reduce the number of hits needed to destroy the tumors that were blocking the door from 3 to 2. So you'll be able to do it in one gun now. As long as you hit every shot, make sure you don't miss your shots now. So it's actually a nice little mechanic added, but you'll be able to do this in one gun now. And then they also made it so the gun that you pick up after blowing up the drone has increased fire rate and range. So that is nice, but just don't miss your shots. Because you get to one phase it if you hit every shot. Fixed an issue where gates would receive damage. I don't know much about this one. I've never had this happen, to be honest. It's really niche, but basically just a little bug that was happening with the reduced skill power modifier and their inversion energy emitter. And then they increased the melee monster spawn rate. So less ranged mobs just blasting you while you're trying to do the mechanics, and then more melee mobs coming up to you, so it'll be a little bit easier to kill with abilities and stuff, and they're not always shooting you. Melee monsters are much easier to live. And then this one is going to be the Legion of Immortality dungeon. So this is the dungeon with the blue brains. So this is the dungeon where you had to, pop the blue brains in, shoot the cross, and then kill the boss's immunity, or just shoot the cross to get to the next room. Basically, they dropped it from 30 required down to 20. So with that change, they also made it so that you only can carry 10 at a time. So you still need 2 supplies, but you only have to kill 20 mobs instead of 30 mobs. So you'll be able to do each room much faster, and it is much easier because of that. And then they also made it so in the boss room, the cross that you destroy to make the boss non-immune anymore is right next to where you actually deposit the brains in the first place. So before it was like they were scattered. You had like the brain deposit over here and then the cross to make the boss not immune like all the way across the room. Now they're next to each other, so you'll be able to do it a lot quicker. As soon as you deposit them, you can just throw an ability up there or shoot them, and then you'll be able to immediately shoot the boss. They'll not be immune anymore. And then this is the invasion for the Legion of Darkness dungeon, so the tile one. So adjusted the arcade tile positions to make it easier to identify them. They're not going to be scattered throughout the room. I'm guessing they're going to be a lot closer together in each room. Reduced the arcade tile occupation time to 3 seconds. So I don't know what it was before. I'm guessing it was 5 or 6, but that is down to 3 seconds now, so you don't have to stand on them for nearly as long, and they'll be done. And then simplified the color and symbols on the tiles and reduced them number from 6 to 4. So way less, only 4 symbols now. And then obviously only 4 shapes. Again, X, triangle, circle, and square. Very, very easy. You could go by shape. You could go by color. You could go by the number of dots. There's 3 different ways you could go by. Pick your poison, and it's much easier now. And then remove the suicide bomber that would destroy the arc tiles. So no worry once you get on them and once you actually activate them, they do not disappear anymore. And then the raider, they also reduce the spawn rate of the raiders, who would reduce the occupancy. So I don't know what that means. I'm guessing, I didn't really have any issue with this, but I'm guessing those guys would just come up and make it last a little bit longer or something. Make you have to like stand on it a little bit longer. And then change the symbols to stay on the arcade tiles for longer after stepping off of the central control unit. So central control unit is the orange pad you step on. Now when you jump off it, they'll actually stay active for a little bit longer, which is nice. And then added more central control units, so more of the orange pads floating throughout the rooms to be able to jump onto different ones and get different viewpoints. Also very nice. And then let's talk about the, this is the nerf to all the bosses at the end of each dungeon. So a lot to go over here. If you want to take a look at the notes, you can. I'll go over one real quick that is kind of annoying. And that is Agonia. Reduce the ice prison skill use frequency during immunity. That's stupid. So that's a good thing it's gone. Yeah, but you can read all these guys. They nerf like every boss basically during their immunity phases. So they're not just going to be pumping into you while you're trying to do mechanics. And then the really, really good news, big news, hype news, increased Hailey research material rewards from 3, 2, 1 for gold, silver, and bronze to 5, 4, and 3 for gold, silver, and bronze. So you'll be able to get 20 per day instead of, 12? If you get gold on every single invasion dungeon you do. So Hailey will be attainable much quicker. That's twice as fast. And then obviously keep in mind, last Saturday, they buffed the drop rate from the hard mode dungeons. And then they did a huge list of buffs to all of the, I'm not going to go through each one. I'm going to go through the 3 that I think I'm going to be using because the buffs are nice, but they removed a lot. It's a kiss curse effect. They remove a lot of the curse effect or the negative effect of all these inversion effects. So for me, I'm going to be using the one that grants you max MP. So this one right here, the neural focus augmentation. So they buffed it from 3% per stack to 4% per stack. So instead of having a max MP of 15% after killing 5 mobs, you're going to have a max MP of 20% after killing 5 mobs. You do get that negative 1% sadly still of range. So you're going to have negative 5% range, but that's like nothing to be honest. That's the one I'm going to be using, as well as the random MP gain, which is every 60 seconds. Where's that one at? Right here. So grants one of the following 3 effects every 60 seconds, 60% chance, 30%, and 10%. That has not changed, 60, 30, 10. However, the amount of MP has. So from 8.9 to 13.4, from 15.6 to 23.5, and from 20 to 30. So this one is another one that I use, and I'm going to be continuing to use. Just a nice little buff, honestly. And the rest you guys can take a look at if you want. I know there's some good ones. Like this one increases your max HP by 50% whenever you get 5 kills. Pretty nice. And then the last one I'm going to be using is probably the one that they changed the most as well. It's the unconsciousness. So when all skills are on cooldown, grants unconsciousness, cooldown of next skill used minus 8%. Used to be a 3.5 minute cooldown on this. Whenever it procced, they completely removed the cooldown. So you literally just, whenever all skills are on cooldown, the next skill you use has a negative 8%. So you could just be on a spamming build, and every single ability you use next, like Viessa, for example, just obviously her Q has a really short cooldown, but if you have everything on cooldown and then you use her Q, it'll be even shorter, which I don't know if we need, but there you go. That's the one I'm going to be using as well, because all of them are just not the greatest. They did buff Excava, the firearm ATK of Excava, by 20% or around 16%. Still pretty garbage though. And then actually some big news here. So overwhelming shield and overwhelming HP have been buffed, 26.8 and 19.8% respectively. That's their max now. I didn't know what their max was before, but maybe these will see a little bit more use now. I don't know. We'll see. I know that people were trying to fit those into their builds. And then this one is such a weird and random one, but it's so accepted. They decrease the defense and HP of Pyromaniac on standard and hard mode in the intercept battle. Also decrease the HP and shield of the Hummingbirds, which appear in the Executioner and Pyromaniac intercept battles. So there you go. Pyromaniac and Executioner nerfs. Definitely bigger Pyromaniac nerfs. I'm really interested to see how fast Hailey can kill Pyromaniac now. As she was already like 2-shotting him, 3-shotting him before. She's probably going to be almost 1-shotting him now. I don't know. We'll see how much they actually did, because they didn't give an actual number. Kill score for defeating monsters in certain hard infiltration operations has been increased. So for the ones that required a ridiculous amount of increase, they made it so the mobs actually give you a bit more score. This is Magister's Lab, Sterile Land, Magister's Lab, Unknown Laboratory, and Quarantine Zone. They all needed it, so that's very nice addition and a nice little cherry on top. I think that that's great. They didn't even talk about doing this, and they just went ahead and did it. Shorten the time required to interact with objects. Another sleeper one. This one's probably gonna be really nice, especially for like basically just interacting with everything, right? Like sometimes you just kind of get annoyed if you can't hold E right before you see it. You have to like press E right as it spawns or whatever. And yeah, this just faster is better. There is bug fixes and there is some changes. The only ones I really want to go over are Jabber. So basically for Jabber, they fixed an issue where summoning a turret within Jabber's turret zone with a module affecting range, the turret zone would not expand as much as it should. So more fixes for Jabber. I don't know how many more issues he has, but more fixes. And then also they fixed that bug where basically if he has that Transcendent mod equipped, the turret engineering skill could duplicate turret zones, and it would just be like a never-ending duplication effect, and it would do a lot of damage. That's fixed now. So Jabber's still getting some love. He's probably going to get some fixes over the next few updates because he just seems to have so much wrong with him. But hopefully that's enough to make him better. Probably not, but anyway. There is a comment from the director here, and he basically just says some pretty crazy things actually. So obviously he's talking about all the changes they did, Hailey increase, all that stuff. But I want to read this last line because this last paragraph is actually like leaves a lot of curiosity in me. So let's do it. So one of the major changes for this season has been that the usage of hard infiltration operations has seen a significant increase since the season update. The rise in participation stems from the increased activity by those farming Hailey, obviously, in the infiltration operation and improved reward efficiency. The dev team hopes that the infiltration operation will become an important farming location. So that sparks curiosity in me. They already buffed the XP. As you know, it's one of the faster ways to get Descendant XP now. So that is very interesting. But the next one's actually more interesting. So, and is preparing to make adjustments to some sections with traps to provide a better gameplay experience. So they're going to be removing maybe lasers and traps and stuff that are kind of super annoying. And then here we go. So finally, in the second update scheduled for October 10th, we plan on introducing infiltration operations of the highest difficulty. So a new difficulty, who knows? They nerfed the difficulty of invasion dungeons, so maybe these are harder, maybe these are, who knows? But that's exciting because I didn't, that's not what I expected to see. We will continue to incorporate your feedback to ensure an even more engaging and fun battle experience. That's pretty much been it, guys. I appreciate if you made it this far. Really looking forward to the changes. Obviously, the changes came out. They're live right now. You can go patch your game, update it, and it's a non-maintenance update. But that's been it. I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Enjoy the grind, and good luck on your Hailey reactors. I'm out of here. Peace out, guys. Goodbye.